This is a video for a trumpet playing friend called Joe, just to explain something that I was trying to put in an email and I couldn't do very well. So you asked me, when is that point that we find it magically easier to play with TCE? Obviously when you're changing your technique or trying to adjust it in quite a big way, then there are times when it's going to be you're going to be thinking more about how to play than actually playing. You know, this thing that a lot of people might mistake for paralysis by analysis, but it's just trying to overwrite old habits with new, better habits. And something that I just wanted to say was that, you know, a lot of the time the exercises that are presented to you, particularly in the Super Chops books, the trumpet yoga books, you know, all Jerome Callett's older stuff, is actually quite extreme playing, and it isn't the sort of things that we come across day to day. I mean, even some of the exercises like this, if we're just playing major scales with multiple articulations, using the spit attack approach, so that we get maximum projection and clean attack for less effort. Have a listen. This sort of stuff, yes, we need to be able to do it, but it doesn't come up in music every day. If you're playing a hymn in a church, you had to do something that's a completely different style of playing and a lot easier. So this is the thing. If all the exercises that we do when we're practicing the tongue controlled embouchure are pushing us to our extremes all the time, then we're not actually spending any time working on stuff that's relatively straightforward. If we take a look at a more traditional approach to playing, you get lots of exercises that include long tones, and things that encourage you to work on your airflow. So say for example something like the Vince Chikowitz flow studies, things like this. Yeah, the intention being centered pitching, smooth blowing, and not having big jumps between the notes as we go. That sort of stuff, you know, people who take an air-based approach, they do a lot of that. The difference between what we do and what they do is that we use much less air. But we do still need to practice those sorts of things in order to get a grip on the balance of the tongue, lips and air as we play. So if I was to do something similar, I might do it like this. I would take a breath first and let it out. This is because your body needs that air in order for you to keep going. I then take a small breath, compress a little, and then and so I'm working on playing the same sorts of things but with as little effort as possible. Now, some might look at this video and say to me, but you know, Rich, that didn't sound as good as the time when you took a deep breath. And of course you're right. But the point is that you don't need to be blowing lots of air all the time, and then experimenting with this balance is what's going to help you play in a way that's the most comfortable and sounds good. Something else you could do is Herbert Clark exercises, something like this thing here. Now in the book, I think you're supposed to play that little up and down 6 times in one breath. And that, when you look at approaches like Claude Gordon, he gets you to take a deep breath and then try to make that air last for longer and longer and longer. I can tell you I can play it 6 times without taking a breath at all. So again, same process as before, deep breath in, let it all out again. Now I'm oxygenated and I'm relaxed. I take a small breath, compress. I kind of forgot how many times I was supposed to be playing it, but anyway, because of the control that you have using the spit attack, you know, how much air am I using? None. It's so little, it's literally the air that's in my mouth. You know, Jerome Kallett often said, Harry James would play with as little air as was needed to get the job done. And I think that that's a really important sort of thing to take on board. Because it prevents you overblowing when you play high. So, for example, you know, I'm really not forcing anything there. It's all just to do with compression. And something I've been thinking about this week is making sure that you keep the jaw open enough to allow the airflow to reach the lips. And that's, that's one of the big reasons that we have the tongue in the position that we have it in, because you can't close your jaw with your tongue between your teeth. Right, I'm going to sign off because I can stand here and jabber all day, but I think I've said everything that's helpful. If you want me to send you any materials, give me an email, check out my website. Obviously Joe, you've already seen it, but anyone else watching this video, drop me a line and I'll send you some advice. Thanks very much.